Great news. All your favorite comedy podcasts can be enjoyed ad-free on Amazon Music.
Listen to your favorite music, plus top podcasts completely ad-free on Amazon Music, included with your Prime membership.
Dive into a world of laughs by downloading the Amazon Music app for free, or go to amazon.com/ad-free-comedy. That's amazon.com/ad-free-comedy to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads. Listening on Audible helps your imagination soar. Whether you listen to stories, motivation, expert advice, any genre you love, you can be inspired to imagine new worlds, new possibilities, new ways of thinking. There's more to imagine when you listen. Listening can really lead to positive changes in your mood, your habits, and ultimately your overall well-being. I've been wanting something fun and light for the summer, so I started listening to The Stench of Honolulu by Jack Handey, who, of course, is from Saturday Night Live. We all remember Deep Thoughts. And it's true. I really feel like my imagination is bursting at the seams right now.
As an Audible member, you can choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog, including the latest bestsellers and new releases.
New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/crappens or text crappens to 500-500. That's audible.com/crappens or text crappens to 500-500.
Want to teach your kids financial literacy, but not sure where to start? Greenlight can help. With Greenlight, parents can keep an eye on kids' spending and saving, while kids and teens use a card of their own to build money confidence. As a parent, you can send instant money transfers, set up chores, automate allowance, and more. It's a convenient way to run your household, customized to your family's needs, and the easy way to raise financially smart kids. Get started with Greenlight today and get your first month free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
Watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. This is part 2 of the recap. If you missed part 1, go check out your podcast feed. It's right there. And without further ado, let's get right back into the recap. So Jenn is like, oh, well, and how are you and Heather now? She goes, you're asking me? Oh, well, I don't know. I never know. I never know. It's like, what was in the wind? Which way was the wind blowing? You never know. I was like, yes, well, wind is an important factor in golf. Okay, Katie, I get it. I understand the golf thing. We're moving forward.
So I'm sorry, I got lost in my notes. Okay, so then we go to Shannon saying, like, what's your beef, Jenn? Because Jenn's like, yeah, I got into it with Gina, I was going to talk to her at Heather's party, but, time and place. And really, frankly, I don't have either of those things. I'm out of time and I don't have a place. So that was hard. And Shannon's like, what is your beef? She's like, oh, I don't have a beef. Or any beef. Do you have any beef? I don't even care if it's old. Did you know that you can eat beef a week after the expiration date? I've tried it.
You learn so much from Tiger King. So Emily is like... Emily is FaceTiming Gina, and she goes, why do you look so pretty, and why is your lighting so good? She's like, oh my god, well, I look pretty because I'm working, and to be honest, I'm actually, a little bit irritated right now. I'm like, you don't say. You're irritated literally every scene we ever see you in.
Yeah, because her career is being ruined by Jenn, okay? It's being ruined.
That I put Jenn in that house, right? Because it's all I talk about is how I put her in that house. Well, guess what? That's having an impact on me because I had a deal lined up and I had to get a cash buyer and I had to get a cash buyer quickly. And I knew this agent would be able to bring me a cash buyer. And guess what? I couldn't get my cash buyer. And that cost me $50,000 of cash buyer missing fees. Okay. So when that deal fell apart, I lost money.
Okay, so she's saying she had a house that she was selling and they wanted a cash buyer, and the only realtor who knew people that wanted to buy things with cash wouldn't text Gina back. So now that's Jenn's fault. Gina, you're so bad at this. You're so bad at this. That doesn't even make sense. You're as good of a realtor as you are a housewife.
Yeah, I feel like this feels tenuous at best. And Emily's like, wow, if I put you in that position, I'd be mortified. Jenn ruined your reputation. I'm like, I think maybe being on Real Housewives of Orange County kind of ruined your reputation, but that's fine. Blame it on Jen.
I think the scenes with Gina saying, I'm an Italian, and then opening ragu sauce to make dinner for her kids did enough.
Yes.
So, deep ragu cut, guys.
Yeah, I liked it.
Hold back. Let's take a moment. Okay, so then we cut back, and Jen's like, yeah, well, I rented that house, and she found the house. I mean, I told you all this, and then we got evicted, which is terrible. But, also I have to say, thank you, eviction. Thank you so much. I've learned so much. I can't really tell you what it is yet, but I'm sure it's something, and I'm sure it's going to bring us all closer together. So, thank you.
You know what? I get it. We're all in the same circle. I get it. We're all talking. But as an agent who helped me get in the house, why are you running around talking about shit that's going on? Which I think is actually kind of a fair point. That is kind of shitty, I mean, Jen's also talked about the eviction a lot, but Gina is...
It's her story. Gina is the professional, shouldn't be running around being like, oh my God, she's the worst client. She didn't pay. Blah. I mean, it's just tacky. It's so I mean, I don't know why I'm surprised. I'm actually not surprised, but I've said it a million times this episode. I don't need to roll around in it, do I, Bam? Me.
So Gina's like, well, I don't even know where she's living right now. And Emily's like, well, she can't rent somewhere in Orange County. They're going to ask for credit and they're going to want financial statements. And I mean, she is beyond that.
Unlike the rest of the world where no one needs credit or financial statements. So Gina's like, oh, wait, what do you think she's going to do? Move in with Ryan? That's her only option. I mean, I assume she's going to move in with Ryan because, what other options does she have? It's like when I finally married Shane. It's like the last thing available on the menu.
When you get proposed to over G-Chat, sometimes you say, what other option do I have at this point?
Listen, people can say whatever they want about me and Shane, but we outlasted G-Chat.
I know where she could move into. How about Travis? I think Travis has an opening coming up. So now we go back to the beach and Kate is like, so have you moved in with Ryan?
Travis loves packing kids into tiny 2 bedrooms. I'm sure he's got one somewhere that he could shove another 5 kids into.
Yeah. So Katie is like, so what does Ryan do for a living? What does he do? Is it golf oriented? Because otherwise I really don't care. And Jen's like, well, thank you for the question so much. He did mortgage for years and years. And, he's done real estate development since then, but nothing there's no office and no actual job stuff. He seems to go into a dark alley a lot. And he seems to be going to Dodger Stadium quite a bit. But I think he just really likes baseball. So yeah, that's what he's up to.
I mean, there's no office. There's nothing really. I mean, he just kind of... I feel like he just sits around and plays in the sunshine. He kind of lives the dream life, really. I always tell him. And Kitty's like, oh, that's nice. Because it is so nice. Having a man who does nothing but just has money to get a new pair of plugs every week. I mean, it's really something. Not a red flag at all. This is so great. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I moved away from Will and now fully independent, moving in with a guy who will support me, even though he doesn't seem to have any job and just plays around in the sunshine.
Basically,
nothing could go wrong.
Moved on from will to won't, and I'm very happy, very, very happy.
Listen, I do not shame someone for being like, you know what, he's going to take care of me. But what I do shame someone for is having someone take care of you who you say, oh, he seems to be sitting around and playing in the sunshine. I'm like, if you're going to go for someone to take care of your bills, get someone who has to show up at an office or something, has to log in, has to, play around.
If you are going to leave your husband, the least you could do is run a 1999 background check on somebody. You know what I mean? Spend the $20 for Christ's sake.
Listen, I don't mind her leaving the husband. You can leave the husband for free. I'm just saying, if, hopefully you learned lessons from that situation with Will. And I'm just saying, just make sure he has a job. Just make sure you know where the money is coming from.
Preparation.
Just know where the money is coming from before you move in with 5 children.
So then back to Gina. Gina's like, oh my God, you know where she's going to go? I can tell you where she needs to go, to work. She's got to go to work. And Emily's like, no, she's not going to do that because that would mess up her gym schedule. Oh.
I have a sincere question. What did, when shit went down for Gina, what did she do for work? This is not she didn't work, but what was she doing when she first Like
I think she was just cobbling to get. From what I remember, she was cobbling. She's on Housewives, so that's obviously some work. And then she was getting stuff, support or whatever from Matt. But I don't think she immediately got a job. I mean, it takes a while to study and get your real estate license and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, the thing that really sucks about all of this is that what Gina has accomplished in the past few years really is cool. I mean, she came from a terrible situation and she turned it around. She got her shit together. She learned something brand new. She's taking care of all these kids in a tiny apartment. She's doing really a good job. It's just a shame to see her be such an asshole to someone who's like literally on the floor losing everything when she should know better. Like she should know what that's like. It's just gross.
Yeah, it is really gross. And then Emily's like, you would do anything. You would swing on a pole if it meant you had to put food on the table for your kids. You know that if Jen swung on a pole, Gina would be like, that's how she's going to support her kids? I mean, get a real job. Like, don't take off your clothes to support your kids. Like, that Gina would say that.
They all would. So Gina's like, I understand and I'm sympathetic to what Jen is going through, but it's like one thing to like burn me as a friend, but you take food off my kid's plate, and that's a problem. Not take food off your kid's plate. Did you have to give back the 10% or whatever you made off that rental fee? Give me a fucking break. So Emily's like, anyway, they just get off the phone. So now we go to Katie's house for the Katie scene. It's Katie's first family scene. Let's see what she's up to.
Well, her husband Matt is playing soccer with their kid Bandon, which is already a little bit off-brand. Talk about off-brandon. Because it's knockoff. And her daughter, Callie's 19, and Kaylee is like putting on makeup or something, or doing her nails or whatever. And Katie talks about how her name was Katie Fletcher growing up. I mean, it was like the whitest Catholic name ever. I always remember knowing that I was adopted. My parents could not have children. And she tells the whole story about how she was adopted from Korea, but she grew up with no connection to her culture. And she was like, a year later I was FedExed over here and here I am.
And she talks about how she didn't grow up knowing anything Korean and no Korean food, nothing. But then her daughter really took interest in her Korean roots. And so she's basically teaching her. She's like, Mom, this is Korean food. This is a Korean restaurant. This is how you order. And she's like, and I taught her golf. And then they say they have one son together. Oh no, I'm sorry, we already read all that.
They do. No, they
so
do.
Basically, it's basically that. It's cute. It's like a get to know me scene. Kaylee has a biological father that left, and so she's embracing this guy as her forever dad or whatever.
It seems like I feel like there's more going on with like this ex. She has a son who lives full time in Atlanta with the dad, and then Kaylee feels like she doesn't have a father, and so she's adopted kind of Matt, not officially, but she feels like she's adopted by Matt as like her father. So I think there's more story there that I'm sure we're going to find out about. And then Katie says like, I gave birth to Callie. I was on my 20th birthday, and I said yes. I beat teenage pregnancy. So that's all I really needed. And the rest has it's been whatever.
I'm bored, honestly. I got bored in the scene because it's a family scene. I get bored in the family scenes. Even reading the notes, I'm like, why is this still going on? Do you want to say anything else about this scene?
No, it was just a perfunctory, let's meet Katie's family and see who the players are, and now we shall go forward.
Yeah, they seem fine. So then Shannon and Emily are talking about flag football. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun because, like, over the summer, I played flag football with Annabelle, and she was so good. It was so much fun, and I thought, we should all play it together. Whoop, I'm going to bring a turkey sandwich in my purse. I'm so relatable.
So Emily and Shannon and Gina, like, they practice football, catching ball, throwing balls. It's funny how we're having, look at all the fun God, John Jansen, who? I'm just a I'm like a regular Brett Goldfarb. What's his name? I'm like Farfignugan. How? I'm Elijah Manning. Sports.
So Shannon's like, well, who's all going? And she's like, well, I invited everyone, and then I needed to invite some other friends, because otherwise it's not a big enough team. So, you want to have enough people, so, fill in the blanks. She's like, oh, God, does that mean Alexis is going? Yeah. I love nothing more than to build you up and then undermine you and tear you down the rest of the season, Shannon. I mean, come on. What are you asking me not to play my favorite sport?
And Gina goes, you know what? I didn't really feel like she was really nice or easy to talk to. And they cut to this one clip so quickly where Gina is sticking up for Shannon a little bit, and she basically is like, she's what was the context of this?
She says something like, well, everybody's always sticking up for John. And Alexis says, well, maybe that's because he's a good fucking guy, Gina. And
it just cuts away from it. But just the way Alexis turned so evil in that moment cracked me up.
And she's like, honestly, I'm just trying to warn her. The instances that I've had with John, they made me uncomfortable because, I could hear him. He's aggressive. And then it cuts to the scene last year where Shannon's crying about Gina being mean to her. And John being like, fuck Gina. Who the fuck is Gina?
Yeah. They keep trotting that out. Although every time he says it, I kind of chuckle a little bit. So then...
and then we cut back and Shannon goes, oh, yeah, I remember that. Well, he hadn't eaten.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, so I'm not with John anymore. Listen, I'm not making John dinner anymore, but I'm still making him excuses, okay? Baby steps.
Well, he hadn't eaten on account of the fact that he was afraid to open his mouth and show his pebble-like teeth. So Gina's like, well, I didn't know that I had to travel around with a snack pack to hand out to grown men so they don't tell me to fuck off. Alexis, you better make sure that dinner's on the table at 5 o'clock on the dot, honey, because he's like a gremlin. You got to feed them and water them, otherwise they get fucking evil.
Actually, if you water a gremlin...
That's not how gremlins work.
Seriously, you can't even make a gremlin joke. You can't with her. So she's like, well, I think you should be really proud of the way you handled yourself at that party, Shannon. Which I agree, and I'm impressed that Shannon actually held it together like that. And she's like, well, I feel so bad. I mean, I got a DUI, and I went to the place, and, there were a couple nights that I was freaking out. Sure, I thought my life was over, and on those nights, I did drink a lot. I mean, when I say a couple, Monday through Sunday, but still, then I went to that place, whatever it was, and now I'm great. Look at me now.
Obviously I sympathize with her, and sometimes it takes perspective to make people change their own perspective, unless it's Jenn, in which case, fuck her.
So then we see Shannon saying, look, you're a good mom and you're a responsible person, and I always thought I was that way too, and now I understand what you went through when you got your DUI, and I'm sorry I wasn't totally there for you, which is wow. And both Gina and Emily are like, wow, good job, Shannon. Look at you being a nice human being to people. Wow. Yeah, Shannon, good for you.
Yeah. And Gina's basically like, she was always an open book of bullshit. And now she's willing to look at the things that she didn't want to look at. And, she's basically saying this is the first time that Shannon's been honest ever.
Oh, okay. Basically, Gina's like, well, I was going to try and sidle up to Alexis, but she's horrible. And Tamara's still vile. And the only people left are the golf girl and this chick. So
here we are. Meanwhile, elsewhere in Orange County, Tamara and Eddie, we know it's a Tamara and Eddie scene because we see motorcycles on the highway. And it's got flashbacks to last season when Tamara made her triumphant return on a motorcycle. And she's like, born to be bad, bitch. Born to be bad, bitch. So she's on the motorcycle with Eddie. They get to a little motorcycle, like a biker hut where you get burgers and stuff. Then you go biking again,
Yeah.
What do they call those types of places?
I don't know. I didn't listen. I wasn't listening, to be honest. I was scrolling notes, reading through a Tamara scene, Big Bear. Brian's got a new girlfriend. Food arrives. Okay, so Tamara's like, sis, cut fitness class. Eddie's long-term plan is to meet the Big Bear full time. I can't wait to be a mountain woman. It's gonna be so great. I'm gonna be like, hey, you want a piece of me, Bear? Get over here, Bear, you dumb bitch. Nobody likes you, Bear. You drunk alcoholic, Bear. Go away, Bear. But you see a bear running away crying, like...
So I had a great time at Heather's party. It was great seeing everybody. Batch. And Eddie's like, even Shannon. She's like, I have too much anger in me. He's like, why are you so angry, babe? Because I think where my anger lies has nothing to do with Tris and Mika stuff. It really doesn't. It's just that I really thought she was going to get help. It's frustrating to me because she's lying to everybody, you know? Oh, I'm sober. Oh, I haven't had a drink. Oh, I'm just going to have 2 drinks. Oh, I don't have a drinking problem.
And he's like, it doesn't sound like this is rock bottom to her, so don't take it personal, because it's not your problem, it's her problem. And at the end of the day, if I'm standing on a road with a flag in my hand, it's going to say David Vidor. I love you, David Vidor. I still can't believe she did that to David Vidor. Also, I forgot to mention, in that other episode that I was accidentally watching for a half an hour, that was the one that Eddie was like, yeah, I love Eddie Vidor. I mean, I love David Vidor. He was the only good thing in that marriage, David Vidor.
Eddie is actually correct in this point, which is like, this is not your problem. Like, why is Tamara crying about this? This is Tamara trying to take on the problems. That way she can have a beef with Shannon.
Yeah. So she's like, I care about her. I'll be there in a heartbeat if she reaches out to me, and then I'll take her hand and I'll slap it and I'll say, stupid alcoholic.
You know, and she's like, I just cannot deal with the day-to-day with her anymore. It's like too stressful for me. Because, you know, Jen's not surprisingly going through a lot of shit. I told you a little bit of that. You know, she's getting evicted, bitch. Don't you know that? And so now, I forget that Tamara and Jenn used to be close friends. So here she is ready to pile on to Jenn about her eviction.
Yeah.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
What you're hearing are the sounds of people everywhere putting on Bombas socks, underwear, and T-shirts made from absurdly soft materials that feel like plush clouds. Yeah, that plush. And the best part? For every item you purchase, Bombas donates another to someone facing homelessness.
Bombas. Big comfort for everyone. Go to bombas.com/Wondery and use code Wondery for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/Wondery. Code Wondery.
Say goodbye to performance-robbing engine deposits with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. Hate to break it to you, but lower-grade fuel can leave deposits in your engine that build up over time and leave your engine's performance severely lacking. Thankfully, Shell V-Power Nitro Plus removes up to 100% of performance-robbing deposits with continuous use in gasoline direct injection engine fuel injectors. Download the Shell app today to find your nearest Shell station and rejuvenate your engine with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. Fuel up at Shell.
So then she's like, you know what you gotta do? You gotta put out your big girl panic, because you're in the same position you were with your ex-husband now. And he's like, well, isn't that common? She goes, yeah, but she's got a pattern. And she's saying, you know, like she lives with Ryan, but she doesn't have income. Like, where's she going to go? You know, she's going to have to go back to Oklahoma.
Well, Jen's a hard worker. And when she sets her mind to doing something, I don't know if she'll do it, but she thinks about it. And what's going on in her life is probably derailing all that and making her look like she can't figure out anything in life.
So she's like, is Ryan the one pulling her down? He's like, yeah, always. I mean, if you surround yourself with a bunch of liars, you're going to be a liar. Oh, okay. Is that where you sit on trash cans at night and like hiss at people coming near? Sir? I don't think anyone who hangs out with Tamara is allowed to judge, like use the whole, you are the company you keep.
Right,
bullshit.
Yeah. So now we're over at Ryan's house. Jenn and the family have moved in, and she's talking about how it's been an adjustment and that she invited her parents to come out to help with the transition for the kids and everything. And she just feels like, you know, it's just like kids don't feel comfortable yet. They feel like they're still in someone else's house. So they're all sort of like there in the kitchen. Dom had
loving this, by the way. Can I just say Jen's so full of shit because we get to Ryan's house and it's gorgeous. It is stunning. It is a beautiful house. It's like dripping with money. There's multiple garages. There's dirt bikes. There's all this shit. There's all these toys that the kids are fucking loving this. Are you kidding? It's like, I think I'm gonna like it here. She's like, my poor kids. They just don't know what to do.
Talk about rags to riches. So, I guess that was on the Love Island recap. So Jen's talking to her mom and dad, Mimi and Pap, and they're like, Mimi's like, I think that Ryan's really bonded with your kids. And Pap's like, yeah, it's a huge commitment. And it's like, I appreciate Ryan. Yeah, we couldn't be happier. And Jen's like, I feel like, Ryan, you and I keep saying, at 46, you shouldn't have to keep taking care of me the way you have to take care of me. And I'm just so sorry, Dad. It's like her Oklahoma accent. Like as soon as she starts to cry in front of her parents, her Oklahoma accent just tumbles out. And she goes from being like, thank you so much. Oh, you're taking care of me, Dad. Thank you so much, Dad.
Yeah. They're like, honey, we love you. We'd do anything for you. I mean, would you? Because she just got evicted. So I'm going to need some more money coming out of that purse. All right, criers. So they hug her and they're like, I'd dig a ditch for you, but I ain't cleaning up your dog poop.
Oh, Ma, thank you.
So then we go over to Heather and Shannon, and this is like a Heather, like, look at me, one of the funny, hilarious people of the world. And they're meeting, and Heather's approaching in slow-mo. She's like, my coat is my purse. Shannon's like, oh, okay, well, I might need the coat. Okay, can I have this heater moved so close to me that I'm practically on fire? That was called a joke. And hilarity. Did anybody here order hilarity? It just got to your table sooner than you expect.
For some reason, viewers of television believe that I am somehow a demon from the pits of hell. Anyway, can we have the fire surround me? I would like to be surrounded by flames for this entire scene. Thank you. She literally has flames shooting from all angles around her during this entire scene. I was cracking up.
And they're trying to do this whole, like, aren't we just old friends? Look at us, like making fire jokes, and then fire trucks pass. And she goes, oh, yeah, one of us is going to be lit on fire today. So you might need to come back, fire trucks. Watch your weave, Shannon. Remember that one? And then we see a clip of Shannon arguing with somebody and her weave getting caught on fire. And they're like, oh, ha, 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 ah, ha, ha, oh, ha, ha, ah.
All right, let me put down my purse, which is actually my jacket today. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, I was really glad you came to the party, and I know it was a lot to walk into, and that could not have been easy. There were appetizers everywhere. It's difficult. I understand. So I wanted to see how you were. I thought some of the talk was inappropriate. And then it cuts to Alexis being like, well, I don't want to kiss and tell, but yeah, we've had sex twice today.
Vile. And Shannon's like, I just hope that at some point the people that I've been close to for years will say, we understand that this is too much for you, Shannon. She goes, oh, so I mean, are we just not supposed to invite her to anything? Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. If if what's-his-buns, Terry, dumped you and his new girlfriend started showing up in the group, I don't think you'd be okay with that, ma'am.
No,
I mean, I know
definitely
your
not.
Relationship with Terry is a little different because it's been longer and you have kids and stuff. But still, no one's going to be like, "Oh, I'm so excited that you're bringing my ex's new girlfriend around." Come on.
Well, I wouldn't do that, but that's just me. It hurts my feelings that Heather is still somehow defending Alexis.
I mean, truthfully, I've spoken to Alexis a lot more in the last year than I've spoken to Shannon. So Heather's like, did you say to Tamara before the reunion, we need to take Heather down? Could you just answer that for me? Because I really want to know.
No, I was angry with you. Why were you angry with me, Shannon? Oh, right. Because you say I was talking about your relationship. Well, don't you know I wasn't now? Even stuff that I thought was in our vault, I never repeated that stuff. Never. I mean, there's not that they were so salacious, but just private things that you told me. I've always kept your confidence. I've always kept your confidence. I don't believe that for 2 seconds. But then also, if you knew that Tamara was out lying about you, then why are you still so close with Tamara? I mean, pick a lane.
Well, Tamara told me that you were the one, and at this point, I mean, I just like I've had it all the way up to here. Like my forehead is actually at my forehead. I mean, my hand is at my forehead. And my hand, it's actually up here. My hand is actually above the forehead. It's very high up there, and I think this counts as cardio. This is good.
Shannon, I've always been straight with you. Remember when I tried to get you put into that mental ward? Well, I'm apologizing. It's like, I don't need an apology. You know what I want to hear from you? All I want to hear from you is that you trust who I am and what I say to you, and that we can have a friendship. I am the person who just invited your ex's new girlfriend to a party to make sex jokes about your ex right in front of you all day long and never said a thing. That's who I am, Shannon. Like, what is your holier than thou like? I just want you to know that I'm a good person. You're an asshole. You just totally played an asshole move on her. What are you talking?
Heather, I can't help but notice that your eyeballs are actually red and reflecting the flames that surround your face right now.
There are so many flames coming out of you. There is a little girl turning behind and looking at the camera and smirking.
I'm feeling a little uneasy right now, but I also feel like I'm succumbing to some sort of primitive spell that's taking over my body. Zool!
So we get another scene of Shannon being like, well, I'm hopeful for our friendship. And Heather being like, I've always liked Shannon. I just hope that we can have a strong friendship. Like, oh, okay. All right.
And then she's like,
each other down the rest of the season because Shannon and Katie are going to team up against your ass, and I'm going to root for them the whole time.
Well, now that we are friends again, are you ready for some football?
And Heather goes, oh, yes. I'm a Taylor Swift fan. I am a Swifties person. I know football now.
Oh, hold on one moment. I'm trying to understand why the correlation. Travis Kelce. I get it. Oh God, that was. Oh, I don't totally know what I'm laughing about, but I feel like it's a time for me to joke and laugh because I have a new friend.
And just this read from Heather was so obvious. Okay, are you ready for some football? I'm a Taylor Swift fan. I know football now. Thank you, gays. Worth every penny, gays.
So now it's Gina, Emily, and Katie are meeting up. I don't even remember what the scene is.
Watch out, world.
Where are they? Gina. Oh yeah, they're at the deck. Oh yeah. This is the deck is slowly rising as one of those places on Real Housewives shows. We just, we were interviewed for an article that's coming out soon about like locations that are famous on the Real Housewives. And I have to say the deck is it's in a lot of scenes on this show.
Well, congrats, Deck. You're making it. So Katie's telling them, oh, I met up with Shannon and Jen was talking about moving. And Gina's like, oh, yeah, moving. She goes, yeah, she's moving in with Ryan. You know, she just did. She goes, oh, well, I see. I didn't even know where she was living. So what would I know? Why would she tell me? I mean, just after she started my career on fire and kicked my children in their nuts, every single one of them, their private parts, cut their throats, basically told them you're never eating again. Well, I'm glad that she made it somewhere. I'm glad that she's living somewhere. I sure didn't know about it.
Well, ladies, let me tell you something. It's funny. She said that Emily mentioned it to me. And how did Emily know? Oh, well, I figured that shit out. It does not take a genius, okay? She did not tell me. I learned it by talking to Gina. Wait.
Yeah, but we just watched Gina going up to everybody. Like, she just got evicted. Didn't she wasn't she telling Katie? I mean, come on.
So Gina's like, you know what? It was on Instagram and I brokered the deal. I dropped everything. I dropped all of the nothing I was doing to get her into that home. And if her concern right now is the fact that I'm telling people, that's ridiculous. Her concern should be about how she's going to pay her fucking rent.
What did you drop to get her into the house? She's so ridiculous. So,
what lean cuisine box did you drop on the kitchen floor to get this deal done?
Give me a fucking break. And Emily's like, yeah, under car payment. And Katie's like, you know what I said to her? That's so awkward because I said I like your car. She goes, oh, well, you should go take a photo because that bitch is about to be gone.
I actually laughed at that. I laughed at that because it's kind of true. So Gina's like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? Like, I'm talking to my friend because Emily was concerned for me and all this. And that, like, really bugs me, okay? Because, like, Jen needs to be focusing on how she's going to take care of her children and herself, not on who is, like, trying to assign blame for her own problems.
Well, yeah, you know what? She probably does need to focus on her children and herself and getting, like, her income in. And the last thing she needs is an alleged friend talking all this shit about like how she's so shitty for being evicted.
Well, if she comes from my career, I will fuck her up. You're doing great. I'm sure you're really building your reputation right now. But if I was moving to Orange County, I'd be like, I really want this unhinged lady in terrible clothes rubbing. Like, I'm sure she understands contracts.
If she gets me kicked off of Pillow, I'll be so mad. Don't you mean Zillow? No, I'm not on Zillow yet. I'm just working my way through Pillow, and then I have a lot to lose here.
Mm-hmm. So Gina's like, oh God, I can't even look at her. I can't even look at her. Like I can tell that she's got on very nice new clothes. She's got on glam. And honestly, it's like a slap in my face. Because now Gina and Jenn go to this cafe to have a talk. So she's like, she's in glam. And honestly, that's a slap in my fucking face. At least look like you're on Hard Times, bitch. It's like, is that what you've been doing?
So Jenn comes in like, hi. So they sit down and, they're like having some pleasantries. And Jen's like, well, there's just like a lot going on. But I mean, I wanted to get together with you because I'm like, wait, what the fuck did I do to Gina? And she goes, well, I'm not particularly happy about this situation, Jenn, that we're in here. And she goes, well, but do you honestly think, Gina, I moved into that house and thought to myself, I'll just motherfuck Gina and I'll just I'll go in on a whim and see if I can make rent. No. I don't think you think about these things at all.
Yeah, I didn't think that you thought that. I don't think you even thought like, wow, it's a possibility that I could completely be cut off from my husband. My husband could lose his job and I wouldn't be able to pay my, like, what an idiot. You're so stupid. Gina's and Jen's like, well, that's bullshit. She goes, when you sign a contract, you have to follow that contract and you did not pay your rent. And you know what? Like, this is my brand new career, Jenn, and you can tell I'm doing really well because I'm wearing a train conductor hat today, Jenn, okay? You want to take my train conductor hat away before I can gift it to my children? I dare you. I dare you to take a train conductor hat from my children's heads.
She's wearing Megan King Edmonds' hand-me-down train conductor hat from that one episode. So Gina's like, I didn't run my mouth about your personal things. She goes, well, then how does Emily know? I'm sorry. Gina said, I didn't run my mouth about your personal thing. And she goes, well, how does Emily know about it? Well, do you know how I knew you were evicted? Instagram. I went out of my way to help you and you burned me. I'm like, you didn't learn from Instagram. You told us last week that you learned it because you were CC'd on lots of emails and texts about like the eviction.
Right. I guess her point is you wouldn't even call me to tell me. Like,
right.
I saw her on Instagram before you called me. And Jen's like, I didn't burn you. And she's like, yeah, and the fact that you sit there, Jenn, and you have this attitude is pathetic. And she's like, well, that's shitty. And she's like, you need to grow up. You need to pay your bills. You need to figure out how to take care of yourself and your children.
Wow, that's like very shitty. Thank you so much. Gina's like, you know what? It's not your ex-husband's responsibility. Yeah, but like if they have an arrangement, and especially if he has support that he has to pay. I'm not sure what the details are, but what I'm gathering, unless I've forgotten a detail from last week, what I'm gathering is that this guy was paying for their house and then he fell behind because he hit hard times, and then like all of a sudden he wasn't telling her that he wasn't paying his bills. And so he was like welching on his end of the deal. And the fact that Gina has no sympathy of like the fact that this shitty situation, I feel like happens to women all the time, where suddenly the women are hung out to dry because of men's crappy ass behavior. And like the fact that Gina has no sympathy for this, I think is really important. Assuming I got the situation correct. I may have it totally wrong.
No, that's what they said it is. Yeah, that he lost his money because he lost his job with her parents and that he fell behind in rent and other fucked, basically. So yeah, it's pretty gross. So Jen's like, you are really fucking... She goes, it's not your ex-husband's responsibility. Yeah, it is. And it's not your boyfriend's responsibility. And she goes, God, you're really shitty. She goes, I'm upset. Because you called me and I helped you. She goes, yeah, well, you're not the only one upset with me getting evicted, Gina. I'm the one who got evicted. She goes, oh, yeah, well, you want to know something else? Because I don't think you get it. Because I understand you don't get these things. She goes, oh, now I don't get these things. So you're saying I don't know anything? She goes, no, do you know about this? And she goes, you know what, Gina? I know that my 5 fucking kids are, what's that?
They're having this fight, and right in the middle of this, the waitress comes by with a coffee, like, here's your latte.
She just drops it and, like, backs away.
So yeah, Gina's like, do you know about this? Do you know about this? And Jen's like, no, Gina, I do know. I do know that like me and my 5 fucking kids were on the line, and 48 hours we had to leave. She goes, yeah, but you don't even want to talk because like you don't even want, you know what?
You won't even let me talk. Gina, you sit down and you start screaming at someone who's going probably through the hardest thing in their life and calling them all sorts of names and saying that they're not taking care of their children. And then she won't let you continue to yell at her without interrupting you with like a slight 1 or 2 words every once in a while. And now you're going to scream that she's not listening to you. Get her off the show. She's terrible. She's never been fun. She's never been good at anything. Get her off. Take her off of the show.
What makes Gina think that this is somehow going to improve her real estate career? Like this is going to make clients want to work with this woman who's berating a client who is like going through something that's like, you know, embarrassing and tough and hard and scary. And Gina's thing is like, yeah, but you know what though? My reputation, she's hurting my reputation. Well, then build back up your reputation. You're sitting here, you want her to build back up her money. Why don't you build back up your fucking reputation? If you're all about like some bootstrap mentality that you seem to be into, why don't you live those words too?
And she's like, you don't get it, and I get that, you know. And yeah, you know what? You really need to wake up, Jen, because you're not paying your rent. You're getting your hair and your makeup done. Why aren't you paying your rent? You're getting your threads done. Why aren't you paying your rent? You're at the gym every day, and why aren't you teaching yoga class, like outdoor yoga classes or whatever? And she's like, I teach my ass off. She goes, yeah, at outdoor yoga class. Oh, okay.
She's like, you don't even fucking know what I'm doing to try to bust my ass, Gina. She goes, well, I know that you're not paying your rent, Jen, and that put me in a bad situation. Like I I can't believe it. Like again, I will allow Gina to be annoyed, but like
no, Gina sucks. Like I'm done.
Her lack of any kind of sympathy or empathy when she herself has gone through hard times and she has benefited from the grace of her castmates for years now, and she has often been like, you know, it's just so hard. What I'm going through is so hard. And I feel bad because I'm burdening everyone all the time. And yet here's someone, now it's her time to pay it forward, and she is being so nasty about it.
Well, at least Jen gets one good thing in there because she goes, are you fucking kidding me, Gina? Just because my life is falling apart doesn't mean my hair has to fall apart like yours did.
Yes. And they show a photo of Gina's
picture.
Bleached blonde hair day, which is not
could have really been from any season. But
yeah, I'm about to say her hair this season is not that different from that season. So Gina's like, you know, I had a deal set up and I needed to reach out to this agent in order to access the buyers that she has. Jen, this is real. I'm like, she's evicted. She has to live with Ryan now. That's not real.
Yeah. So she's like, I can't believe it's a woman. I'm sitting across from you and you won't even let me talk. As a woman.
Like what's crazy is like we have these notes here that are written down and we can see literally how much that Gina has said and how little Jen has said, and that Gina now is like, oh my god, you're not even gonna let me talk, you're not even gonna let me berate you about the fact that you've been evicted, and that at 46 you have to have other people take care of you, and how embarrassing that is for you. You're not even letting me embarrass you more for your embarrassment.
So she stands up and she screams at the producer, she won't even let me talk. She's a joke. And Jen's like, oh, you're a fucking joke. And she's like, yeah, if you want to do this weird shit, I'm not doing it, Jen. So she goes out and like storms out and is having a diva fit. And she's like, Jen is a ding dong. Okay, you're pathetic, Jen. Take care of your fucking self and your kids or drown. But don't fucking run me over with your bullshit.
I've lost respect for Jen. Her inability to even see how this has affected me has told me everything I need to know about her, which is mostly that she's stupid.
She's getting evicted.
Yeah, Gina.
I mean, I actually would love to go back to the Lynn Curtin season and see what the women's reactions were to Lynn Curtin being evicted and compare it to Gina, because this is just, I think it's just so tasteless. It's so obnoxious.
You know, and you see how everybody else is. It's not like we've already gone over this a million times, but it's not like everybody else is being so sensitive to this. You know what I mean? And it's just Gina. It's just that everyone else is kind of funny. And they have like a way of pulling it off. And Gina's just trash. She's a trashy person. She's not funny. She's got no sense of humor. She's got no like gravitas about her. I cannot believe she's still on the fucking show. I mean, someone shaming someone else for getting charity is crazy, because that's everything that Gina's had for the past 5 years. I can't believe, or 7. How long has she been on this show? It's a long time.
It feels like an eternity. And you know what? Gina was so furious about being shamed for living in a condo or a 2-bedroom house. Whatever. She was furious about that. And here she is shaming someone for being evicted and not getting their act together. You know, like, well, listen, we're often the first people to be like, get a job, get a job. But like in this case, I think that Gina, the context of what her relationship is to Jenn and how her relationship should be and what I think would be expected of a friendship, I think is so vile. Like this was actually the first time that I think that we've always been like, oh, Gina's an asshole. But this is the first time where Gina, I feel like, was really just being like nasty. That was shocking to me.
Yeah, she's gross.
You know what's not gross? You know what's not gross? Podcasting. Thanks everyone for being here. We appreciate you. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Hope you all enjoy some Love Island finale, or for one of you, perhaps the Golf Channel. And we will catch you on the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Strolling the park with Caitlin Clark.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Hitchels. Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas. She's never scary, it's the Green Fairy. Jamie, she has no last namey.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know your worth with Jason Kurth.
Sipped some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's always supplying, it's Kelly Ryan.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. We want to hang with Liz Lang. Megan Berg, you can't have a burger without the Berg.
The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall. We got our wish, it's Jenn Plish.
She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch.
She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender. The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
Give him hell, Miss Noel. Ring that bell for Rachel. She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
If you like Watch What Crappens, you can listen ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded, survived. We know the 6 wives of Henry VIII as pawns in his hunt for a son, but their lives were so much more than just being the king's wives. I'm Arisha Skidmore-Williams.
And I'm Brooke Sifrin. And we're the hosts of Wondery's podcast, Even the Royals. In each episode, we'll pull back the curtain on royal families past and present from all over the world to show you the darker side of what it means to be royalty.
We rarely see Henry VIII's wives in their own light, as women who used the tools available to them to hold on to power. Some women won the game, others lost, but they were all unexpected agents in their own stories.
Being a part of a royal family might seem enticing, but more often than not, it comes at the expense of everything else, like your freedom, your privacy, and sometimes even your head. Follow Even the Royals on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. Go deeper and get more to the story with Wondery's top history podcasts, including American Scandal, Legacy, and Black History for Real.
I'm Dan Taberski. In 2011, something strange began to happen at the high school in Leroy, New York.
I was like at my locker and she came up to me and she was like stuttering super bad. I'm like, stop around. She's like, I can't.
A mystery illness, bizarre symptoms, and spreading fast.
It's like doubling and tripling and it's all these girls.
With a diagnosis, the state tried to keep on the down low.
Everybody thought I was holding something back.
Well, you were holding something back intentionally.
Yeah.
No, it's hysteria. It's all in your head. It's not physical. Oh my gosh, you're exaggerating.
Is this the largest mass hysteria since the witches of Salem? Or is it something else entirely?
Something's wrong here. Something's not right.
Leroy was the new Dateline and everyone was trying to solve the murder.
A new limited series from Wondery and Pineapple Street Studios. Hysterical. Follow Hysterical on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Hysterical early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.